Happy Sunday, everybody. I'm just getting back from church and, I'm fresh into recovery and getting my life back on track. I've always been a Christian. I've always believed in God and but it's one thing to believe and it's another thing to follow through and actually live righteously. It's all about everything you do. It's not just about one thing you do. It's about everything you do. And I'm not saying all churches or everything is perfect, but if you're going there for the right reasons, you know what I mean? You ain't going there for alternative motives. There's one thing to go to church every Sunday and think you're saved, but that don't happen. You're still going to burn in hell if you show up to church every Sunday and don't participate and don't be a sponge and soak up all the information that is being passed out. But at first, when I went to the church I'm going to now, I was like, oh, that's okay. The pastor's all right. He's all right. But I just didn't want to just judge from the first couple times. So I've been going for a couple months before I committed because it's right down the street. I mean, it's close to the house. My neighbors go there. I think that's pretty cool. You know what I mean? And my neighbor, she's been living here forever. And like, I'm talking about forever, from like the 60s or 70s or something. She lived across the street. And she goes there and she's a really nice lady. And I seen her today and she's like, I'm really happy you're going here, John, and this and that. I said, yeah. And I went to the new members meeting because I wanted to see what it was all about. And they've been talking about it for like a month or so. So I went. It was pretty good. I got a little one-on-one time with the preacher. And he's very good. I like him. I like his message. And like I said, the first couple months, I was like, I don't even really know. My wife really wasn't into it. And she's been taking care of this elderly gentleman. And she's been taking him to another church because they don't live nearby. And it's the church they go to. So I've been going here by myself. And listen, the last couple weeks, like, I felt like God was talking to me. And even after when we were doing the new member meeting or whatever it is. It's the new member class 101. And it's great. It's Pastor Eric. He's a great guy at the, what is it? Because I go to Clear Lake Baptist, but it was crazy because the way that we were supposed to be going, we looked it up and it said Clear Lake Baptist is right down the street. That's where I wanted to go. But it said the service was at like 11:45 or 10:45 or something like that. And I was like, man, that seems late, but we'll go. And when we got there, church was letting out. And it's a crazy story because then we see a couple people leaving and we're like, what time was church start? And they're like 9:45. We said, all right. I was like, I thought that was kind of late. So we leave. And we come back the next week at 9:45. So we go there for a couple weeks, and I'm still thinking I'm going to Clear Lake Baptist. But it turned out it was Surfside. Something happened. Y'all can look it up. I don't know. I haven't looked into it, but it was some legal battle or something, so they had to lose the church or so whatever, and they had nowhere to go. So Clear Lake Baptist took them in, and we were right because my wife looked it up online that day, and Clear Lake Baptist's service did start at 10:45 or whatever it was because it was after Surfside ended because they're sharing the church. But we just started going to Surfside and I liked the pastor. He seemed pretty cool. He seemed straight. But the last few weeks, I say the last like 3 weeks in a row, it hit like God was talking to me. And so I wanted to, they say they call it coming home, when you find a good church or you find your home church. And so I filled out a little paperwork and I become a member there. And now I'm just taking it one step at a time, and they're starting next Sunday. And it's crazy how God works because I've been thinking about it and I've been wanting to go to Bible study and stuff and just get more into the Word because that's what God been telling me because I don't read my Bible like I'm supposed to, you know what I mean? And I'm just getting started praying more, because prayer, it's all about communication with God. And prayer is really the best thing that you possibly can do. Right there with having faith. And it's amazing just to be able to pray and have faith. And see, I know I've said it before, but man, our biggest problem is when we give something to God in prayer, we take it back and worry. Y'all ain't hearing me. When you give something to God, don't take it back and worry. That's our biggest problem as humans. Because we want to keep worrying about it, because we want to know the answer, because the how-to is not for us to understand. That's God. God is the how-to. That's all you need to know. Pray about it and have faith. And the rest is history, And, excuse me, since I've been giving it to God, and that's been one of my biggest problems my entire life, but I've learned to do it. If you've done as many calendars as me behind the fence, you know what I mean? You know how to give it to God. You know when it's out of your hands. Like, I hate it when you see somebody that can't even hold their composure for 5 minutes. Like, you can't even, you ain't got enough sense when to shut up. You just want to yap, yap, yap instead of just biting your tongue for a few minutes, let the shit go by. And you know what I mean? That's what I gotta say. I was forced to be a man at a young age. Being incarcerated like I was, and programs and juvenile halls and YO camps and stuff like that. Like, you learn when to stand up and shut up. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you got these police or these security figures or whatever they are, whatever you want to call them, in your face with a power trip, just waiting to put their hands on you. You learn patience. You learn you learn to chill a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Because don't get me wrong, when that first started happening, I stayed in the confinement. I spent more time in the confinement than most people spent incarcerated. But I'm not boosting or bragging about that. I'm just saying those are hard lessons I had to learn. And if I can spread the knowledge that I've learned over trials and tribulations, you know what I mean? It took me years to figure out how to turn losses into lessons. I don't think y'all heard me, man. When you take a bad situation, what y'all going through, whatever it may be, addiction, finances, you're homeless. Listen, I've been homeless. I've been anything you can think you going through, I've been through it most of my life. Started out as a child. You know what I mean? When you in the trap houses as a kid, knowing you supposed to be in school, or where you ain't where you supposed to be at. That's just how it is in the trailer parks. You know what I'm saying? My trailer park ain't no different than your trailer park, so you know how I was rocking. So, when you're forced to be a man at a young age, you start learning, especially a man that has to provide for other people. You know, it ain't always been about just me. I gotta make sure mine are straight. My friend, cause if I'm eating, we all eating. That's how we rocking. My circle's real small, but if I'm eating, you're eating. If you're eating, I'm eating. You know what I mean? I'll tell y'all a funny story. Me and my best friend, God bless him, he's changed so much. He's got a job. He's just amazing dad. He's just an awesome human being. You know what I'm saying? But growing up, me and him, we were scumbags. Like, we were the scum of the earth. We used to ride around in a car that's not legal. You know, we bought it for some work. And then we got we don't know whose tag's on the back of it. We just found a car that looked like it and put a bogus tag on theirs and put dirt tag that matches our car on the back of ours, so we legit when we riding around. They're not legit no more. That's just, that's how we used to rock. And I tell you, we used to have business cards. We had pieces of paper. And whoever side, if you're on the driver's side, or if you're handing out paper, your number's on the top. And if whoever, my dog's on the bottom, and if he's handing out, his number's on the top and mine's on the bottom. And we used to ride around, and anybody we seen out there out of place. See, back then there was payphones. The play was easy, bro. You just ride around, and you catch somebody on the payphone that's out of that don't belong here. You don't belong on this payphone in the hood. You're in too nice of a car. You got too nice of clothes on. You got jewelry on. You ain't supposed to be over here on the payphone. You feel me? So I'd be like, bro, you straight? And they'd be like, oh no, I'm straight. And then you wave the candy in front of them, and they're like, oh yeah. And then they're in the car, and you got you a new buddy. So, but we used to hand out numbers. You know what I'm saying? Whoever used to see the buddy, and if I gave it to the last one, we see somebody, we give them a free piece and a phone number. And then at the next one, my dog does it. You know what I'm saying? And see, we used to be fair about it. Like, if my phone's booming, like say my phone, I get 3 back to back, bang, bang, bang. You know what I'm saying? The first one's mine. The second one, I let my homeboy get. And then the third one's mine. You know what I'm saying? So even if my phone rings twice, you feel me? And I get the first one, I let him get the second one. If his phone bangs next, that's mine. Because that's just the order. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all getting money together. So that's just, but they don't do it like that no more. You can't find nobody that gonna kick it and just get money together, I'm not promoting no negativity. Now we work together. Like, he might get a job and I get a job. You know what I'm saying? He does tree work. I help with tree work. I'm really not a tree man. I'm a handyman. So if anything needs fixed or anything goes wrong, you know what I'm saying? He bangs my line. We spread the hustle. But if y'all check my videos, I got all types of... And see, my problem was, I wasn't really into making longer videos. I was into shorts at first. So I'm trying to start making longer, like how-to videos, and like I'm very handy. Like, that's one thing I gotta thank my dad. Like, and my stepdad, they kept me on the job sites. They kept like, listen, man. And that's a part about growing up poor. Like, we were straight, but we grew up in a trailer park and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So there's nobody to call. When your car breaks down, you can't call a mechanic. You got to figure out how to fix that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, when something breaks, you got to figure out how to fix that shit. And blessed, because, like, my dad's, he's very handy with his hands. He's always worked construction, you know what I'm saying? He's always had me in construction growing up, and, like, he's a very smart man. But the biggest lesson you need to learn out of life is you got to work hard for everything. Nothing's just going to be handed to you, and you won't appreciate it. And that's what all the trials and tribulations I've been through in my life molded me for who I am today. Like, you would have told me I'd be successfully completing probation. My wife successfully completing probation. We're sober. I hit over 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. Come on, man. I'm just telling my testimony. And that's why I'm going to reach the top. Because all glory goes to God. No glory goes to John. I'm just a vessel spreading the message that if God can save me, he can save anybody. Y'all ain't hearing me. If God can save me, come on, man. Listen, do you know how many times I flatlined in my addiction? Do you know how many times they had to hit me with Narcan in my addiction? Y'all ain't hearing me. You ain't got enough hands and toes to count how many times I've been hit with Narcan. And how many people I've seen way more successful, way more positive, way more just a better person than me. That ain't never make it out of the addiction. That fell victim. That's what everybody says. Oh, listen, I'm part of the epidemic. Listen, you're not part of the epidemic. If you were part of the epidemic, you wouldn't be with us no more. You participated in the epidemic, but you have a choice to change before you become the statistic. And that's what I got to thank God every day for. And I'm not perfect. I'm far from perfect. Y'all might catch me cussing in my videos. Y'all might see me smoking. Y'all might see me, just saying some things I probably shouldn't say. But I'm working on it. I know I have a problem. I know I'm not perfect. But as long as I try to be better tomorrow than I was today, I'm on the right track. And I acknowledge God in all the ways and let everybody know that it was not me. It's not me. It's God shining through me. It's God using me to share my testimony about everything I've been through in life. And when I was a kid going to youth group, I said, man, everybody I told about my growing up, my childhood, they're like, you have a great testimony to God. And listen, that's apples and oranges compared to what I've been through now. So what I'm trying to tell y'all, man, God never stops molding us to be who we're supposed to be. So don't be, oh, why you put me through all that? We need to be thanking God for getting us through all that, because it wasn't you. It was God in you that got you through that. Because you wouldn't be where you're at today if you didn't. You wouldn't appreciate what you got if it was handed to you. If you didn't earn it with blood, sweat, and tears, you wouldn't appreciate it. That's why when you let somebody drive your car, or drive your boat, or drive your four-wheeler, or drive your dirt bike, or drive your go-kart, or fly your drone, or anything, let anybody borrow anything, and they don't appreciate that shit because it's not theirs. They didn't have to earn it. Just like when your parents gave you some toys or gave you something and you went out there and you tore that shit up right away. You couldn't figure out why they mad at you. They gave it to you because you didn't appreciate anything. So everything I've been through in my life makes me appreciate what I got. I appreciate just being able to wake up in the morning, have vision, being able to use my hands and feet, to be able to go to the bathroom by myself, to be able to get up and go to the refrigerator. Do you know how many people that can get up out of bed and walk around can't even go to the refrigerator because of the situation they're in? Which I ain't no different. I could be in a situation where I could never go to a refrigerator again. I could never use a cell phone again. And that's why I want to get my message out. By the grace of God, I'm not in the chain gang right now. I shouldn't have got probation. My charge that they gave me probation for was a minimum mandatory. But by the grace of God, when everything came back from the FDLE, the weight was wrong because they wanted to weigh everything in the original packaging. And it was a couple different bags and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So by the grace of God, they didn't have to come back and amend my charges. You know what I'm saying? To a lesser included charge. That's God working in my behalf. Come on, man. Y'all ain't hearing me. I've seen so many miracles. It will blow your mind. Just the simple fact that I'm sitting here talking to y'all. And y'all can see this is a miracle. That's by the grace of God. And I want y'all to make sure y'all just try to be better tomorrow than you were today. That's the biggest message I want to get out there. And respect your elders. Open the door for people. You know what I'm saying? When you see somebody, don't be so quick to judge and just don't have an attitude. Like so many people these days are just in such a hurry and don't think about others. Just be kind to others. Because I know everything I've been through. And you know what's crazy? I say that. And when I was at the church today, and after I went to the new members meeting, and there was only like 6 of us in there, and besides the pastor, and I told him a little bit about my testimony. You know, I didn't really get full into everything, but I just said, you know, I'm fresh into recovery. I'm just finding church again. I'm getting back on a relationship with God. And when it was all over with, this old lady, she was just new membership too, and new member, and she looked at me and she said, "Keep up the good work with your recovery. I know it's hard." And just this lady it didn't seem like this would come from this lady. And you know what else? And she said that, and it made me feel good. And then I come back, and I want to give a shout out to my sister-in-law, Alicia. I posted something on, it was my video I posted this morning about 160 days sober off of subs. And I posted it to Facebook, and she shared it. She said how proud she was of me and everything, and it just blows my mind. And I appreciate that. It means a lot to me, you know, because when you become an adult, there's not that often that other people say that they're proud of you, you know. So that's why I want to say uplift everybody. If you see somebody doing something positive, or just somebody working hard at something, just let them know that you're proud of them. You love them. You see what they're doing. You acknowledge them, because the biggest thing is somebody, like, you'll do something. You'll keep doing it. You'll keep doing it. And you keep doing it. And you're like, why am I doing this? You're not getting no gratification out of it. You're not seeing nothing out of it. Like sometimes I'll post a bunch. I'll post a bunch. No views, 5 views, 3 views, 2 views. And you know, if one person sees it and I can brighten their day, I can change their outlook or something. You know, they might be thinking about checking out. But then they hear about God and they realize they got a second chance. They hear about me. I've had 4, 5, 10, 15 chances. I'm a 3-time loser. And God still saved me. He can save you too. You just got to give your life to him. You got to believe in him. And everybody's like, oh, the Bible is a fairy tale. Listen, it's historical fact. There's so many facts in that Bible. It's not a fairy tale. It's history. So, just a little food for thought, man. I'm not going to get big into that, because I don't want everybody to be like, oh, listen, I'm a Christian. I believe in God. And I want y'all to find Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior too. Because it'd be the best decision you ever made in your life. If y'all need to know anything about God, y'all want to know anything about God, recovery, any questions about anything, y'all message me or comment, any of that. I'll answer the question. I try to get right back onto it. I'm not the best, but I'll definitely get back to it within a day or so. But I'm about to jump off here, man. I just wanted to jump on here for a minute. I might jump back on here in a little bit. I got cotton mouth. I just got back from church. So I appreciate all the support. Thank each and every one of y'all. I hope y'all have a blessed day.